A songwriter once said, never trust a big butt and a smile. But they should have said, never trust good ding ding and a smile. Because, baby, good ding and a nice wagon will have you in trouble. Follow, like, share, comment, subscribe. Y'all know what to do. Bonus content, patreon.com/CWT Priestess. Show notes, check it out. Hit that intro. What's up, my royal priesthood? It's your girl, Priestess. Before we get into the story, I do want to do a check in with everything that's going on. I hope that you are well. I pray that you are well. And I just want to encourage you that we are going to make this through united. Make sure that you are finding people to organize with and staying abreast, but also taking time away whenever you need to, okay? And the strain of the week is a nice hybrid 50-50. It's called Blueberry Mojito. It's a beautiful feeling. Very heady, euphoric feeling, and it helps me rest and relax throughout the day as I knock stuff over. But nevertheless, let's continue in the show. So, for purposes of protecting identity, the names have been changed. Since this man had the most basic name, I'm going to call him Henry. I nicknamed him the Wayward Wagon, and you're going to see why in a minute. Henry and I met in around 2021. And we had met on one of the apps. We had been talking back and forth. And because of my work schedule, I didn't really want to do a meetup or hookup during the week. So we planned to meet that Friday. And Friday was my night to watch Law and Order after it had premiered prime time if I wasn't able to catch it, because I would record it on Sling TV. I said, well, bet. I said, I tell you what, come on over, bring some snacks, bring your own tree. We'll watch some Law and Order SVU and we'll relax. So Friday comes. Henry sends me a face picture and he is a handsome man. He's like maybe 5'10", nice muscular build, football player build. I saw the pictures, baby. The package, total everything. And baby, he had a caboose that wouldn't quit. Oh, he had a nice gluteus maximus, okay? It was just perfect. But the kicker was he was all top. So that night, the conversation was perfect. He was a perfect gentleman. And of course, oh, the libidinous time we had was something for the books. And that was the thing with Henry. The libidinous fun was hot AF. And when I say libidinous, I mean hot, heavy adult time. Check it. I have to be censored for some of the platforms I'm on and some of my sponsors, okay? But it was just wonderful. However, we tried to schedule time to meet. Life happened, and I found myself homeless. And we didn't contact each other again till probably around March of 2022. And I let him know my situation, and Henry was like, I'm here for you. And he was a support, he was of mutual aid. And once I got into transitional housing, I said, well, I'll tell you what, now that I'm settled, let's meet up, let's go out, let's hang out first. I'm not really looking to have any type of sensual interaction, no hokey pokey right now, because I'm just going through a situation right now, trying to heal. And Henry was very understanding. So we started going out. That first official date, due to still COVID protocols that we were following, we decided, let's grab a bite to eat from a little fast food joint. I'm not hard to please, you know, and I wasn't really trying to, it was a Saturday. I wasn't really trying to be in a restaurant. I wanted to be outside because it was warm. So, and I have the picture of what I wore, but I'm not going to post it. But I put on my best body wave hair, my little crop top, long sleeve, my little Daisy Dukes, giving a little bit of 1990s Janet Jackson S style with my nice boots and stuff, and just going out. And we had a great time. We talked about what we wanted. Um, Henry did let me know that he would like to start a family, and I was like, okay, cool. And I already knew when he said that may have left me out of the running in far as dating. So I already made up in my mind. I'm gonna keep it at friends with benefits because I don't want kids, and unless we adopt, baby, I'm a woman that cannot birth kids. You know, if you know what I mean. So we continued on with the date, and right, we decided to keep it as friends at that point. And not only was he, my herbalist, but he also made some good snacks, and I love the snacks. And he had an eclectic taste for restaurants because he did take me to a couple of bars and restaurants, and we continued to hang out, chit chat, FaceTime. And here comes the time where we finally planned that first time of, I'm going to spend the night with you, you know. And I said, you know what? Tonight is the night. I'm gonna finally get me some good schmeat because I ain't had none in a while. Your girl had been on lockdown. I'm healed up nicely. I done went to therapy from the last stuff, and this was right off the heels of all of the action from Diary of a Church Girl that happened. So I'm still healing from that and making sure that mentally I'm okay. So that night come, we went and got a bite to eat. I ended up Ubering to Henry's place because he had some car issues. And I didn't mind Ubering to his place because, he had to Uber to mine at one time. I'm not one of those girls, oh, he has to have a car because in where I live, you really don't need a car unless you work outside of the general area or unless you need it for convenience or safety reasons, which is valid. But at the time, neither one of us had a car. And my car had just gotten repoed at the time. So I said, you know what? It is what it is. So we ended up chilling out at his place, and we watched a couple of movies, played some games. And next thing I know, legs up in the air, moans and groans, got mine in. And he was so considerate of my boundaries that I'm like, okay, cool. Like, this will be a good friends with benefits situation. And then we continued on our little dates and our escapades. We go to the park, different movies. And there was this one particular date where we was just chilling out, and we had a conversation. And I let Henry know, I said, well, I'm poly, but I'm also non-monogamous as well. I'm poly dependent upon my partner and what the confines of our relationship, what we've discussed, you know. However, non-monogamy is for sure. And I hadn't yet met my partner. We hadn't met yet. So, but Henry and I, we were in our separate worlds doing our own thing. I weren't really trying to date seriously because I was wanting to make sure I was over the whole church situation, making sure I was good. So Henry and I were talking, and we had to have some good tree. And he's like, I am talking to someone else as well. I'm seeing another person. I said, oh, cool. I was like, okay. I was like, I'm not seeing anyone, but if I let you know, if I do end up seeing someone, I'll keep you posted. Cool. And they was like, yeah, man, this person has history. And Henry was like, I made a stupid mistake and I'm trying to fix that. But they are aware that I'm talking to someone else. They know about you and everything. I said, oh, okay. So, mind you, I jumped back to what Henry said about he wanted to start a family. And I listened clearly, when he said me and this person has history, I said, okay, girl. I said, let's see where this goes. In hindsight, I should have let his number stay lost and I should have ended it then. But because I trusted his word like a dumb girl, you know, and I'm just going to attribute to I was in a vulnerable state as well. So, shit happens. We all play the fool sometimes. So I'm like, you know what? Cool. I'm like, I'm just going to play it cool, but I'm going to slowly start pulling away. And I did start slowly pulling away because number one, I was working, and then I had my own stuff going on. I'm trying to build my life. I'm doing my own creative stuff, working overtime, doing a lot. And lo and behold, we're still seeing each other, doing our thing, meeting up. And then lo and behold, a couple of months before I moved into my new place, he hits me with, "Oh, I got good news." "Oh, what's up?" I'm thinking he's going to tell me, you know, he's got a new job. At this point, Henry um, had gotten a new car. He comes, picks me up one morning, and we meet up, do our little naughty, naughty body and our little play things. And he was like, "Oh," afterwards, he says, "Oh, I have good news." I said, "What's that?" I'm thinking he is going to tell me he has a new job or something like that, or he's getting another car. He tells me he has a girlfriend now. I said, "Oh, oh." He was like, "But it's cool. She knows that I'm non monogamous. We both agree, we can still do whatever we want to." I said, "Okay, okay." I'm still playing back the conversation where he said him and this person had history. And then I'm playing back to where Henry said again he wanted to start a family. I said, let me go ahead and start pulling away. So at this point, I focused on my move to my new place. This was 2022 going into 2023. We were still kind of seeing each other on the regular, but I was apprehensive. Sometimes we would have some heated time. Other times we wouldn't be libidinous. We would just chill, watch a movie or whatever. It finally got to the point to where I met my partner and had already talked to my best friend and made up in my mind a few months prior to me meeting my partner. I said, "You know what? I'm pulling away from Henry. Like, I just feel like it's more to the story with him than what he's letting on." And so, in me pulling back, I noticed Henry started trying to come around more. So, I finally asked him, as I continued to get to know my current partner, I said, "Well, you know what, Henry? I have questions. Do your girl know that you're non monogamous? Like, what's going on?" He was like, well, actually, no, she doesn't. I said, "Oh, so I'm basically the side piece." He was like, "Well, no, it's just a complicated situation." I said, "Oh." And he says, "Well, yeah," he said, "She and we're moving in together." I said, "Oh, okay." And at this point, he and I had our final interaction at this point. And he later hit me with the bomb. "Yeah, I'm expecting a kid." I was like, "Oh, yep, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm at that point, I'm glad that I had finally put the nail in the coffin prior to that. And I had already told my partner, I said, "You know what? I've already pulled back on Henry because it's like I already know where this is gonna go." And I had already noticed how he changed in just how we interacted in our libidinous time, in our adult happy time. And I'm like, "Yeah, you're not moving the same." So yeah. I was like, "You know what?" I said, "Henry, you know what? I'm good. I'm just gonna move on with my life. I'm going to focus on building something with the person that I'm interested in, who ended up becoming my partner a few months later." And he had the audacity to say, well, you know what, I appreciate you. And I told him, I said, well, if you appreciate me and if you really appreciate your lady, you would have been honest with me and you wouldn't have been playing in her face. So you go and focus on the house that you're building and let me enjoy my life. And I proceeded to block him on all social media. And I don't regret moving on. I really don't regret moving on. And I had made up in my mind, I'm not gonna ever do that again. If I ever find myself single, don't ever do that again, you know. And I'm gonna attribute it to when he came along, I was lonely. And people will take advantage of your loneliness if you're not careful. People will sense that you're lonely and in a vulnerable place and play all kind of games while you're in the midst of recuperating. And when people do that and you catch on to it, fuck them. But don't feel bad. Don't beat yourself up if it happens. Things happen. Learn from it and don't let that shit happen again. Okay. And going back to the previous video that I did, that is another reason why I don't care to deal with DL men. And it's funny because even in hindsight, going back, um, we went on a date to a bar in Virginia, and we had a great time. We got a hotel, and then later on after that, we went to a baseball game here in the city, and we went on a couple of more dates. But I noticed where he was taking me. It was like where he knew he wouldn't be seen. I was like, yeah, it's more serious than I thought. So when I saw how the places that he was taking me, it was like, you know what, I'm good. I'm just gonna move on with my life. It stung, it hurt, and it wasn't because I caught feelings. It was the fact that you played me when you could have been honest, but also you played another woman as well. Because I'm a girl's girl. I'm a girl's girl. I don't believe in being one of the girls that is a pick me for a man. If I know you disrespecting your girl to talk to me, I'm gonna nip that in the bud. And whatever happens, gonna happen. And this is why, like I said, going back to the earlier video, this is why we as trans women, we out DL men when they play on our time. Because we're being a girl's girl. We're not doing this to call somebody gay because they're not gay. They are straight because they like women. And depending on their gender, on how they identify, it could be queer. However, it's up to them. This is none of my business. But when we out DL men, it's not us being messy or homophobic or drawing attention to ourselves or making a reason for people to hate us. We're letting you know the way that men treat you all, cisgender women, they treat us the same way. They play the same games. So there's no need for us to be fighting about men. And same thing for those that like DL men or that like to be pick me's for men. Honey, let that shit go. It's a new day in liberation. Let's unite and fight against the common oppressed, okay? So if you like this, please leave a comment on Spotify and YouTube or wherever you're listening with a taco emoji and like, comment, share. And please live, love, and be free. Smooches.